Hi everybody, Brandy here, linking arms with you to get you across the CPTD finish line. Today in Lesson 5, we're going to learn how to create flashcards to study the essential information you need to pass the CPTD Certification exam. You're going to be using your prep course learning aids, and we're going to talk about the power of flashcards, how to organize your decks for maximum efficiency, synthesizing the information inside the TDBoK for easy memory retrieval, and then a bonus, how to add in those assessment questions. All right, let's take a look at the CPTD Success Notebook. I'm going to go into Impacting Organizational Capability, and then I'm going to open up 3.4 because I'm studying Talent Strategy and Management and really focusing in here on 3.4H, the skill in communicating the value of lifelong learning and professional development. You'll notice here that if you have the TDBoK in the electronic format, it's 3.49. It's also 3.49 in the physical book itself, but you can find that information on page 480. Now I'm inside of the electronic TDBoK. The easiest way to get there is to press continue reading. And then once you're inside, I generally start at the table of contents, and then you can easily type in that number, 3.4.9. And then you'll notice here it's skills in communicating the value of professional development. So I'm going to click on there, and I've already gone in and I've highlighted the answers here. And so the first one that I was looking at was the characteristics of high-performing organizations. There are two of them. I've already captured that. But the question that we're focusing on right now is, what are the characteristics of a lifelong learner? What are those advantages? And so I've highlighted the information right here. And so I'm simply going to highlight the information. And what I did is I actually saved it here. But I'm going to copy this information, highlight it, and then I'm going to put it into a flashcard. The reason that I put it into a flashcard is that I can go back and I can really dive into the information and study, and I'll show you how to do that. You'll notice here that I have a few decks. A best practice is to create decks for each section. So 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, so they're organized that way. This one's going to go into the Talent Strategy 3.4 deck. So I'm going to hit enter here. And then I've already put this information in, being a lifelong learner. Because I highlighted it, it automatically went in. And you'll notice I pushed this button here. This moves that information down to the back of the card. The front of the card is where you put the question. The back of the card is where you put the answer. And so I simply come in here and I highlight. And I know from my reading, and I'm going to open it up here to show you, I know in going in here in this section, when I open this up, what I'm going to be tested on, and that is to list the advantages of being a lifelong learner. So that's the question I'm going to put inside of my flashcard. List the advantages of being a lifelong learner. You'll notice I have an open parenthesis here. The reason that I do that is because I want to make sure that I have the number of answers. And so I just count these off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 advantages of being a lifelong learner. This way, when I'm studying, I know what those expectations are and what I'm looking for. So I have that information in there, and then I simply go down and press save. Here are the advantages of being a lifelong learner. Now, to show you what I've done inside of my notebook, let me open this up here. I have already captured this information. So here is Domain 3, Impacting Organizational Capability. 3.4H, again, it shows the page number that I'm looking at. And I've already captured this information, listing the advantage of being a lifelong learner, and I have it here. This way I can go back to my notebook and very easily look through and review. I see these as my summary sheets that I'm really going to focus on that last 3 weeks of my studies. You have a couple options here. You notice that I just took the flashcard and I copied and pasted exactly what was in the TDBoK. What I've done to make it a little bit more succinct for myself is I've gone in and I've really made those answers very succinct so that they're easy for memory retrieval. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update my flashcard. Let me show you how I do that. I'm going to copy this information here, and then I'm going to go back into my flashcards here, and this was listing the advantage of being a lifelong learner. I'm going to edit that. And you see here there's a lot of information. That doesn't work for me. I don't really want to read all that. I just want it to be nice and succinct. So I just put it into the bullet points and slide it right in here and then press save. So it's completely up to you. If you want it to be fast and easy, you can just highlight that and create your flashcard with a right click of the mouse, or you can put this into your notebook, make it succinct, and then create your cards around that. All right, let me show you how to study using these cards. What you do is you're going to play the flashcards up here, and then I'm going to study all my cards at this point. So here's that first question. List the advantages of being a lifelong learner. So I'm going to remember back and think about what those are. Really, I haven't studied them yet, so I'm not sure. So I'm going to go in and look. So then I go up to this button here, and there they are, right there. I don't know it yet, so I'm going to mark I don't know because I wasn't able to answer it, and then it's going to come up again for me, and I can move on to the next section. Hopefully that part was helpful. And you'll see here that there are 11 questions. There is one final thing that I want to show you, and it's how I use the assessment questions and create flashcards around those. First of all, let me explain the reason why. When you are taking the certification test, you will notice in the pre-assessment and the post-assessment, this is the knowledge that you're learning that's inside of here. So if I were to go down and show you these key points, this is all of the knowledge that you need to know about talent strategy and management. But the test is not about the knowledge. You have to know that information, but then you have to be able to apply it. And the way that I study for the application portion is I go into the pre-assessment, and then I'll take the test, and then I will add those flashcards in as well so I can study under 3.4. So here's my first question. A talent development professional is evaluating the learning culture of an organization. Which aspect must the talent development professional consider for analysis? And the answer is senior management's responsibility for the organizational learning. So what I do is I copy that information, and I make sure that I copy the information down here too, because this is going to give me some really good information when I'm studying. And then I right click on it and copy. And then I will go into my TDBoK bookshelf, and I'm going to create a flashcard. Let me show you how that works. Once I'm back on the page, I simply go into the deck that I'd like to create this flashcard, and it would be the talent strategy deck that I was in previously, 3.4. I'm going to add a flashcard at the top, and then I'm going to go to the back of the card, and I'll explain why I do that in just a moment. I'm going to paste all of that information in that I had from before, and I usually just paste it as plain text. And what I've noticed is that it doesn't allow me to put all the information if I try to do it on the front of the card. So I need to do it on the back. And it won't allow me to type in all of this information and the answers. So this is how I've worked around that. I take the question, I do a Control-C, or you can come up and you can copy it. And then I go up here and I paste it as plain text. So now I have the question. And then what I do is I get rid of all of the other answers because I just want the one answer down below that I need. And so that answer was the senior management's responsibility for organizing learning. So I get rid of the other options. You can keep them if you want to. This is just how I do it. And then I go down to this part, but I want to keep that's correct down at the bottom because it explains a little bit more information. So here's the question. Talent development professional, and so on. Here's the answer, senior management's responsibility for organizational learning. And then here is the specific information around that answer. I simply press save, and now I have the knowledge-based flashcards as well as the application-based flashcards. One little quick tip for you is the other thing that I do is I make sure that I bookmark the page. And I do that so I can come back to this page whenever I want to, because this is a page that I know that I have answers on. So for a quick review, I simply bookmark this page. Now that you have the right content in your notebook and you have a flashcard system to review, it's time to think about and talk about the final step, which is when you review. And I recommend 20 minutes right before you go to bed reviewing those flashcards for the week that you're studying for. And then when you wake up the next thing in the morning, review them one more time. I just keep them on my phone because I've got the TDBoK on my phone, and I just review those quickly. The reason I do that is because as you're sleeping, you process that information as you go into the deeper levels of sleep. So really, you're thinking about it and processing it all night long. Tomorrow, I am going to show you how to put the whole system together into a 12-week format to stretch the 80-hour recommendation that ATD asks for into 12 weeks for maximum retention. And I'm going to give you a secret for creating your notebook format and your 12-week plan for success in under 10 minutes. All right, I'm looking forward to seeing you and talking to you tomorrow. Bye for now.